All right, yeah, I got a solution for Cyborg data type sizes in C++. Here I got a bare bones program. I got a I in here I've included the IO stream. I'm using the namespace std. Here's the in main function with the return 0 to terminate the function or the program. And then here I have some comments. I have the input, the process, and the output. So when I'm breaking down a programming challenge, looking for a solution, I know for sure that I need some input. I need to process or calculate. That's another way you can think of that. And then I need an output. So here I don't necessarily receive input from the user, but I'm giving it to me from the challenge itself. So the information is given to me, so that I'll consider that the input. Later on, when the user gives you information, you consider that the input. So in this case, I have a few variables. I have a char. I'm going to call it letter. So I'm just going to declare it. I'm not going to initialize it. When I initialize it, I set it equal to an actual value like that. But it's not. I'm not going to initialize it. I'm just going to declare it. Here I have another variable called, it's an integer. It's called number. Then I got another variable called float, and the name of it is decimal. And then I have another variable called double, and that is called another decimal. All right, so these are both decimals. This one is a float. It's just a smaller chunk of memory as opposed to the double, which is a lot bigger. And you'll see here whenever I output the information. Okay, so the process portion is actually going to be part of the output. So I'm just going to group these two together. And so here I'm going to output some information to the user. I'm basically going to show them how big these chunks of memory are, the data or the data type that there are. So if you ever going through a program and you're trying to debug and you're trying to figure out what type of, you see this variable in memory and you're like, what kind of, variable is that? It'll show you if you output that information. So for instance, if I say a char uses, and then here I'm gonna put the process portion and say size of, and then I'll put the variable name in there, right? Hold on real quick. So after that, I'm gonna put bytes, bytes, or bytes, just like that. Okay, so that's basically, so here's the process. It's basically doing some information for me here. I mean, I could put it right here and declare it at another variable, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just, for the sake of time and I guess kind of ease, I'm going to group these two together. So here's the process portion of it inside of an output statement or a cout statement. So the char uses this many bytes. So scratch what I was saying about trying to figure out what type it is. It might display, let me see, it might display the type of variable it is. I'm not sure at this point. I can't remember, but so the next thing I'm going to do is show the input, the int variable. Let's see what type of what size or how many bytes that this int variable uses, and it's called number. All right, so yeah, and you guys will see this whenever I output it to the console. So I'm gonna, let me copy this, paste it here, paste it here. So here's going to be a float, and it's gonna be the decimal variable, and then this one is gonna be decimal, and it's gonna be another decimal variable that was created right here. All right, so I see what the program is doing. It's basically we're outputting the size of the whatever variable this is, the size of it in bytes. Okay, so next thing I need to do is go to a terminal. So I go here to the Explorer, I right click on the file that I'm on, open integrated terminal. So here's my directory or my folder that the program .cpp is in, and this is the .cpp is the file that I have all this information in. Another way to check to see if the file is in that directory, hit ls list, and it basically shows you all the files that are in there. So the one I'm looking for is this one right here. Next thing I need to do is compile the program. I'll say C++ 000.cpp, which is the file name. At this point, if there's errors, it will show you errors. There's no errors, so I'm going to do ./.a.out, and it's going to output the information to the user. All right, so here it is. So a char variable, which is this variable here, it's right here. You know, this is the process portion of it. Look at that. If you highlight it, it tells you unsigned long for UL. Interesting. Okay, so a char uses 1 byte, and an integer uses 4, a float uses 4, and a decimal uses 8.